Welcome back to the R+R Show. I'm Ronen, this is Russell. We are excited to welcome you back and get you cooking at home with some of the fun stuff we do here at ZuZu.
Awesome. First thing we're gonna get into here today is the Hawaiian Ahi Tuna Poke Bowl. Signature dish for brunch here at the hotel. First thing we're gonna do, Ronen, let's get our pickles started. These are banh mi pickles.
Okay.
Little daikon radish, cucumber, carrot. We add a little bit of red Fresno chili to ours. If you don't like the spice, you can definitely omit that. Take the seeds out and give it a little bit of heat, but not too much. I like mine with a nice punch in the mouth, so we're gonna keep that seed and everything right in there.
What makes it a banh mi pickle?
The name comes from the classic Vietnamese sandwich. It's the pickles on there are cucumber, daikon, and carrot. And then they pickle those down in kind of a sweet rice vinegar pickle. So you've got this kind of great crunchy aspect to that sandwich. So that's where it kind of comes from, the banh mi sandwich. While he's doing that, we are gonna jump into our sticky rice. This is Calrose rice. We've rinsed this off really, really well. One thing you wanna do, rinse it through a strainer, shake it around, get the starch, the heavy starch off of this rice, okay? You want those kernels to separate and have some kind of texture, but not clumpy with all the starch on it, okay? We've rinsed this rice. We're gonna take equal parts of water, and we're just gonna kind of pour that over our rice. There's a little bit of a residual water in our pan there. We'll take our finger and just kind of move this around a little bit, just make sure everything's kind of level. Turn our heat on, throw a little cover on that. We're just gonna keep a real close eye. To save us a little time, I had one cooked right here. You can see that this rice is cooked out nice and soft, nice and tender. First thing we're gonna wanna do, right when we come and pull our lid off of this and that rice is cooked, take our spoon or a fork and give that a little fluff, kind of move it around. Okay, that's gonna help it kind of separate out, not be too clumpy, not too anything. We're gonna take a splash of rice vinegar. We're just gonna kind of just hit that with a little splash. Again, everything needs a little seasoning. Take a little sugar. We're gonna sprinkle a little sugar on it. That's what gives it that kind of sticky deliciousness. Mix that really, really well.
So Russ, if you don't have Calrose rice, or can you explain kind of what that is So
Calrose rice is sushi rice. It's a short grain, high starch rice that really, cooks really, really well. It's got good texture to it and also kind of forms. If you do it right, it forms and you can kind of manipulate a little bit. But it's got a great like high starch and good texture rice. It's a short grain rice. If you don't have Calrose, you can't get your hands on that, Uncle Ben's out of your pantry will work. Forbidden rice, jasmine rice, any rice will really work. You just want to make sure you cook it the right way, get the right texture on it, and it can work as a great vehicle underneath that poke bowl. So that rice is finished. We're gonna kind of just leave this on low, on no heat, warm pot, maybe cover it and just let it kind of chill. Okay, we're just gonna wanna hold that hot. You don't want it screaming hot for the poke bowl because everything on top's kind of cold. But I kind of like the warm aspect of the rice when you get that mayo and that different
balance.
stuff on there. Once Ronen is getting these pickles cut, we're gonna just basically take rice vinegar, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt. We've already melted that into our vinegar. You can just whisk that in. You can bring a little heat to it to kind of incorporate that in. But we're gonna pour this over cold. I like my pickles to stay a little crunchy.
Love them crunchy.
Gives them, breaks them down just enough.
So the longer you have it in the vinegar, the softer it gets.
Right, absolutely. And if you pour this over hot, it will break those down even farther. So they might get a little softer. You can do this up to 30, 45 minutes before you want to eat it, or you can do this a couple days. This will hold in the fridge for a couple weeks, honestly.
Are we good to go spicy today?
I love it spicy.
All right, I'm gonna leave the seeds in.
Keep all that good stuff in there. Don't touch your face or anything else, because that is no fun.
Noted.
Watch your heat on your rice. You definitely don't want that to get too high of a heat. Bring it up to kind of that boil point and then drop it way down low, but just really keep an eye on it to make sure you get that right. Now we're just gonna pour that beautiful rice vinegar over that. Give that a little mix with your hand. And again, we're gonna set that off to the side. Doesn't need to be in the fridge for now. Once you finish those, put them in the fridge and you're done eating.
Beautiful color right there.
Our Bon My Veg. Yeah, nice and fresh, beautiful colors. And stay tuned. We're going to work into our sauces next.
Love it. Thanks.
All right, guys, we're going to pick back up. We got our rice holding. We got our banh mi pickles kind of marinating. Those are set off to the side. We're going to make our 2 sauces for this. First one, soy vinaigrette. Very, very simple. We got our little bit of chopped garlic, ginger, soy, some mirin, some sesame oil, a little bit of rice wine vinegar, some sugar, and we're gonna slurry that at the end. So let's go ahead. We got our pot kind of on medium, low. We don't wanna get any color, real hard color on our veggies. We're gonna start with just a drop of oil in there. Next up, we're gonna go ginger. I like to start with the ginger because garlic burns super fast. So this will give us an idea of how hot our pan is. You can kind of tell just by seeing the oil dance around. And really we're just trying to bloom that in the oil and kind of give it a nice little sweat. See, we got a good cook going here, and now we're gonna add our garlic.
Any of these ingredients hard to find?
No.
Right, that's the cool thing about
Absolutely. Everything you can get at your local grocery store. Definitely the Asian market if you wanna go take a trip down there. Always a fun time. And these sauces are very, very versatile as well. You can add chilies, you can add anything really to kind of turn this. You want to add yuzu, give it a little more punch. That's a great little option, a little more lime, anything like that. So again, we're sweating our stuff out here. We're going to turn our heat up just a little bit. Watch it close. You don't want that garlic to burn. It gets very bitter and it gets very strong. Okay. Again, we're just trying to loosen that up a little bit. Next, we're just going to add all of our wet ingredients here. So we've got sesame oil, little soy sauce, rice vinegar, a little bit of mirin for sweetness, and then we're going to add in our sugar. Good amount of sugar, okay? This, a lot of salty ingredients in here, so we want to make sure we get enough sugar to kind of balance that out, and it'll give it this nice kind of mouth coat as well. We're going to give that a stir. We're going to turn our heat up just a little bit. Now, while we're waiting for that to come to a boil, so a couple things here. We're not trying to reduce this and make it into like a reduction. We're just trying to bring it up to a boil because we're gonna do what's called a slurry. So I've got a little bit of cornstarch here. I got a little bit of water, and I'm just gonna use my hands. I'm gonna add a little drop of water and use my finger, and we're just gonna kind of work that together. Now it should have this kind of like shiny, kind of like tacky consistency in here. And that's going to just come right together. You can see that it's kind of, you can kind of feel it like pulling off the bottom. Make sure there's no lumps or anything weird like that. And like I said, once we get this to a boil, we are going to slurry that. In the meantime, I'm gonna start cleaning up a few veggies for my next sauce. The next sauce we're gonna make is called jalapeno sesame aioli. Now we add a little bit of chili to that, so to give it some kick. But you definitely don't have to if you guys are sensitive to spice, all right? I like a little kick, especially with all this rice and all this stuff, and it's gonna give it that beautiful kind of creaminess to the rice that really kind of makes this bowl, okay? So we got our ginger here. We're just gonna give that a quick little chop. Doesn't need to be perfect, guys. But we're gonna give that a little choppy chop. Run our knife back through it this way. Looks like our
stir there? Or?
Yeah, go ahead and give that a stir, Ronen, for me. Turn the heat down just a little.
Do that.
And then as soon as I get done with this, we'll show you guys the slurry on that. So again, we've got that coming up to a boil. We don't want that to reduce because that soy is gonna get really, really salty, okay? So we're just bringing that up to a boil because when you slurry anything, you want to make sure that you get that to a boil. That's perfect. Okay, so once we've got that, we're gonna take our slurry, take our whisk, and we're just going to drizzle slowly into our mix. You'll see that kind of coming together. We'll put that back on the heat. We want to make sure that that all comes together really, really nice. Don't be afraid of the heat. Okay, you'll kind of see that coming together off the heat.
What's the ideal consistency that you're looking for?
You're kind of looking for that kind of teriyaki-ish kind of glaze, right? You don't want it too thin, because then it'll just kind of pool down there like soy sauce. You don't want it to get too thick, because then it gets really, really gloopy, and it's just not going to kind of coat. So you can kind of see it. You'll see it kind of tightening up at this point. Now keep in mind, when things are boiling hot, they're going to be a little looser than they are when they're cold and room temperature.
Is gloopy an official culinary term?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's one of the 5 senses, right? So right there, you can see those bubbles are getting a little thick, which is perfect. I'm going to pull that off the heat. We're just going to let that kind of calm down right over here. We're going to turn our heat off, so you can see the consistency here. I'll show you. You can see how that kind of sticks to the spoon like that. They call that nappe, but this is perfect. Right? You can see how that sauce kind of came together. You can strain out the chunks if you don't like it. We leave them in. You could cook, you just don't want to cook this any longer. Like I said, it's going to get really, really salty. Back over to our other sauce here. We've got a little ginger cut. We've got some garlic here. We're just going to give that a little smash. I like a good amount of garlic, but you can go light on this. You don't even have to put the garlic in if you really don't want to. Raw garlic for me sometimes, depending on the recipe, gives it that nice bite and that nice hot kind of peppery, not peppery, but like a nice hot kind of like raw garlic, punch in the mouth, right? And that's something we talk a lot about, that punch in the mouth type flavor here at the restaurant with the chefs, because that's really how we like to cook. I like to hit you the acid in the back. I like to get you that big, big taste in the front, all that spice, and just really kind of hit all the senses there when we go through it.
You're not afraid to definitely showcase your flavor palette, that's for sure.
Right, right, and that's what I think that, what's kind of set us apart from some other people. I think, it's definitely not that light kind of French style, very, very subtle flavors, but good techniques, high acid when it needs it, good spice, good balance, all that good stuff, right? So again, we're gonna run our knife through these shallots. Everything's gonna go into a bowl for this. We got our beautiful shallots here. Again, you can go as fine as you want on that. I don't mind it to have a little bit of chunk or body to that. Jalapenos, once again, if you wanna de-seed these, feel free. I typically do not. I might take a little bit of this pith out. I like to kind of scrape some of those seeds in there because I like the heat. But the pith can get a little bitter on you. So take that pith out of there, okay? We're gonna run our knife through here. Perfect. All right, so once again, we got ginger, we got a little shallot, we've got some jalapeno and a little bit of garlic in there. From there, give our board a little wipe here. Put that into the sink. Okay. We're gonna take our bowl, we're gonna add in a little bit of mirin, a little bit of rice vinegar. We've got some sesame oil that's gonna kind of match beautiful with all this different flavors. A little soy sauce. And then we're gonna add a drop of chili paste into this, right? Again, you can go as big or small on that as you'd like.
Is that really spicy, or is it kind of in the middle?
Sambal's got it's got some good heat to it. It's not overwhelming, right? It's not like you're, eating a fresh Serrano chili or anything like that, but it does have some good heat on there, okay? Take our spoon here, and we're just gonna mix this really, really well. Big thing we drive into all the chefs here and the cooks is taste your food, guys, okay? That's gonna be the main way to know if something is your flavor or not. Cooking is very subjective, right? Get your spoon in there. I'm gonna use my finger. Delicious. Ronen, you wanna give that a taste?
Yummy, delicious.
Salty, creamy.
Love it.
Little spice in there. That is our sesame jalapeno aioli. All right, guys, we're gonna get into the tuna. Ronen, bring me that tuna over here.
This looks beautiful.
Wow, look at that.
Let's get in there.
Love it. All right, so we've got our Hawaiian Ahi Tuna. This is skin on, bloodline in. We're just gonna give that a little trim, take that little bit of bloodline out. I like to kind of use a little bit of a smaller knife so we don't make any bad choices here. But anyway, we're gonna take this. You got kind of your sinewy cap that sits on the skin side. You can see a little line here. We're gonna take our knife. We're gonna make one nice cut, kind of at an angle, and we're gonna kind of follow those ribbons down here, and we're just gonna take that right off of the skin. Okay, you got a little bit of kind of blood line here towards the bottom. We're gonna kind of pull that off. Don't throw this away. We're gonna save this. I'm gonna set it behind me here on my plate. Definitely know that you can get all that tuna meat out of the sinew. Take a little spoon, you scrape that against the ribbons of the sinew, and you'll have some delicious, delicious tuna there.
No, Russ, not everyone has access like we do to,
Right.
of someone flying in some fresh fish to us daily. So a lot of fun ways to get some tuna, which is either local grocery store, but also great local, seafood vendors here in town as well.
Absolutely. We get ours flown in almost every day here at the hotel. Every other day maybe if we need to. But try to keep it super fresh. But yeah, absolutely. Arizona is blessed with some really great local fishmongers, as well as, the grocery stores. You can get some pretty good products at some of the grocery stores around. So poke, I like to dice it a little bit thicker. Now, classic poke is a large, kind of chunky dice, all right? This tuna is extremely fresh and nice. You don't have to do a lot with it. You can see kind of the size of that dice that we're looking for, kind of chunky and full. I'm gonna go right into my bowl here. We use about 3 or 4 ounces in our bowl, but you can double that. You can do as much as you want to do.
Salmon as well, right? Other fish?
Yeah, absolutely. Salmon, you wanna make sure you get a real high quality grade salmon if you're gonna use salmon. I'm just gonna move this over. But absolutely. You got those little green onions over there? Let's put a little bit of those. So we take our fish, we marinate it with just a drop of green onion, a pinch of sea salt right before we're about to serve it. And then we're gonna take our little dressing here and just give it a little coat to kind of shine it up a little bit, okay? Take your hand, you're just gonna give that a little mix. And there you have it, that beautiful tuna. Again, we're not gonna overwork that. We're not gonna over manipulate it. We want that tuna to really come out and that flavor to be nice and fresh. Next, I'm gonna show you guys how to plate this thing. Now the fun part, guys, let's put this thing together, all right? First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna jump right back into our rice. We've been holding this warm in our pot. Be gentle with it. Kind of let it sit down in the base of that bowl. You don't want to kind of smash it or go hog wild on this, okay? It's delicate. We don't want to break up our rice, all right? So we get that in like on a nice base. That's probably good.
And I know here we offer an alternative to the regular rice at ZuZu, right?
Absolutely. We do cauliflower rice. You could put it on a little bed of greens if you wanted to. Absolutely. All right, so we got our beautiful little base here. We're going to take our we're going to take our soy dressing first, give that a little mix, and we're just going to kind of coat that rice just gently with that. See how it kind of just gets the little flavor on that rice and kind of gives it a little seasoning down underneath everything. Okay, next up we're going to take those little pickles. You can see how they've kind of gotten soft and workable. We're gonna take our pickles. I like to take a nice set of that, and we're gonna kind of lay that down right into the one side.
It looks so fresh and crisp.
Couple of extra chilies. Yeah, the color on that is just amazing.
Awesome.
Next up, we got our tuna, the star of this thing. Okay, I'm gonna take my spoon here. We're gonna take that tuna, and we're gonna kind of run that down the middle in a little stripe. Okay, again, this is our star. This is what it's all about. And we're gonna kind of place that in really, really nice. Beautiful tuna. And it looks fresh. Okay, next up, Ronen, you wanna cut me a little half an avocado real quick?
Yes, chef.
We're gonna take some green onions. We're gonna make a little pocket of green onions over here on the side. Make sure that you get a little pinch of sea salt on that tuna. Next up, we're gonna get that avocado. We're just gonna kind of lay that thing right in there. Ronen, if you wanna bring that thing over and lay it in there. We got a couple garnishes that we're gonna finish this thing with. Tempura Crispies, we make these with a little bit of tempura mix. Lay it right in that open spot there, that's beautiful. Okay, we'll kind of spread that out just a little bit. You can see this thing coming together, all those colors and fresh. Now we're gonna take our chili mayo here, and we're just gonna take our spoon and give this a little drizzle, kind of kiss everything over the top with it. Always think about your seasoning, guys. I noticed that avocado just probably needs a pinch of salt. Okay, garnishes. We got furikake.
All right, what is furikake?
Furikake is a seaweed seasoning for rice, Japanese. It's sesame seeds, a little bit of nori, a couple different types of nori. You got ao nori and then sheet, kind of seaweed nori. So we just sprinkle that right over everything. Gives this nice kind of fishy, umami kind of balance to that, a great little seasoning. And then we got some tempura crispies that we hit over the top just to give it a little texture and kind of fun. This is literally tempura batter that we've kind of strained into the fryer. We crumble that over the top. There you have it, guys. Beautiful poke dish here at the Valley Ho.
Wow, that looks great, Russ. Thank you. There you have it, the Hawaii Ahi Tuna Poke Bowl. Thank you for watching the R+R Show. Come visit us at ZuZu.